So welcome everybody to the Scrapbooking Fun, our first Q&A with our rock star, Erin Reed. So thank you, and we are so excited to do these Q&As for you. If you're in the comments, say hi. If you're in Facebook, say hi as well. It should be going live on Facebook. We've got people commenting, people coming in, and Erin is here to answer questions about her amazing presentation. But I have some questions for Erin first. So I am Heather, one of your co-hosts. And down below me is Tracy, our other co-host for the summit. And I thought we'd start with some fun questions. So, Erin,
bring it on.
What started you in the paper crafting industry? What started you doing paper crafting?
So I'm going to type you. It's a hard question, but it's not a hard question. I'm not the only one who's probably experienced this. I had a loss in the family. My daughter passed away. Yeah. And so my way of dealing her loss was to scrapbook pages about her. And so I would be up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, just delving into and getting art therapy, basically through the act of scrapbooking, seeing her pictures, remembering, like all of that. This was 15 years ago. And I dove feet first into it. I kind of had dabbled in lots of fun little crafts, and I had made a couple of pages for my older son when he was a baby, and he was 2 at the time. And so it was just a way for me to process and to deal and to grieve, and to just, art therapy is a real big deal. And so then I started kind of getting into how can I do more? What else can I do in my pages? What else can I do? I was looking for new ideas and new fun things. And so I found scrapbook.com and their gallery, would delve through the galleries. And then I got brave and started posting my projects up on the gallery. So if you go back and look at my stuff at scrapbook.com from years ago, you're like, oh, that's some fun projects. Of which I did post a couple of my really early books and some of my email blasts about the summit, where I started, and just going to events and classes, and how that makes, you learn every time you go to something, you learn. And so I just got brave and just I have to do something creative. It's still part of my ongoing therapy about dealing with all of that. You don't get over it, you get through it. And so this is my way of getting through it. And so it turned from something that I was a necessity to, it turned into more of a hobby, and now into a career. So yeah. That's a long way around it. But I know I'm not the only one who has experienced loss or experienced heartache or have experienced, and thank you everybody, I appreciate all the comments, but has used art or has used crafting as a way to get through something.
Yeah. So it is a great paper, I just say paper therapy. And good for you, because it's a great way. It is. Anyway.
Thank you for sharing that. Second question, are you a scrapbooker, a card maker, or both?
I started off as a scrapbooker. I mean, that was where I delved in feet first. And if you look back at any of the projects I made for the first 4 years, even with companies I worked with and on design teams, I was 100% a scrapbooker. And then when I started doing video content, it took way too long, because I would really nitpick over my scrapbook pages. And so it morphed into card making, because I could do them quicker. It was a smaller space, and I didn't feel so limited to the stuff I could do on my cards. So it has drifted more into card making, but now it's also turned more into just general crafting. So I love sublimation and vinyl, and I work with felt, and I still love my card making, but it's digitals, and it's mixed media, and it's ink blending and stencils, and it's just all things creative and crafty. So I like everything under the umbrella. The only thing I don't get into is crocheting and knitting, or quilting, because again, those projects are really long. I like
I'm a knitter. I'm a knitter.
Quick, fast project and getting it done and feeling a sense of accomplishment.
I'm a knitter, so I can say yes. Some of them are very long. That's why I do short things that work. So I get that.
Yes. Well, and I have to, I'm pushing out content for my companies I work with, and I can't spend 20 hours on a single video for a 20-hour project that turns down to a 10-minute video, because I've got more in the pipeline. So it's just, it doesn't work.
Absolutely. So why don't you tell us a bit about your project? We're starting to get some questions. So go ahead and share, and I'm going to try and flip us around here.
So I'm a card maker, but again, I come from a world, and for a long time, kids were little, I would make little books every Christmas, and it would have the kids' pictures. And I kind of got out of it, because I made I made one for each set of grandparents, and it was kind of their year encapsulated in a little mini book. So I kind of brought that idea back, but still also you could use it for a card. So I have the projects here. was, everything's backwards. That's all cool. All right. So this was the original card. And if you haven't gotten the freebie is on my website. There is a code, and it's linked down in the information down below where you see my presenter, and the code is right there. So just pop that in, pops it to 0, which means it's an for being part of the summit, because for everybody else, they had to pay for it. So here is the front cover. So you get this. And I did get asked a question that if you are, somebody asked about the sizing, you get 3 different files. You get a PDF, you get a PNG, and you get a JPEG. So the PNG and the JPEG I made very large. So you could scale them and make them a nice big image if you wanted to fit it to a bigger page. So you can print it out how you want, or you could make it smaller. But I didn't want to make it too small and then you blow it up and it looks grainy. So hence why the images are nice and big when you open it. But if you want to make them the same size as I have all the graphics in here, then print out the PDF file because it's the exact same size I used. So the first one, of course, I had to do something oceany because, it's summer and I'm just thinking everything, fun in the sun. And I love the ocean. That's my second home, even though I lived in the middle of Austin, Texas, where there is no ocean nearby. Go figure. So it's a fun little fun fold. I put some fun images in there. Here's another one of the graphics. It's got this extra little fun piece, and then you open it again, and then it's got a little extra fun flap. So that's your basic card, right? And then we close that out. But if you wanted to turn it into like a mini brag book, again, I like having an image on the front, and then we open it up, and this is our trip to the Bahamas. So that was kind of the inspiration behind this collection, was all the fun stuff we saw when we went there. And I'm a diver, so that's why I had to throw like the diving elements in there. So that's my husband and myself, and here's my kids with me at the beach in the Bahamas. My husband's actually right there, but it didn't fit into the picture. Like, he's standing right here. But I figured, well, if he's there, then it's okay to cut his head off because, sometimes you can't fit everybody in a picture by the way it keeps going. I keep cutting out. Am I cutting out?
Not since we muted. That's why I asked Tracy to mute. You're good now. Okay. You were cutting out a bit before.
Got it. Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading the questions. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Want to make sure it wasn't a mic problem on my end. And then again, we're opening the flap. And then here is where I put the date and where we are. I always feel, and I used to teach scrapbooking classes a long time, you've got to record your data on your scrapbook pages. You have to put dates, you have to put people, you have to put times, or you're never going to see any of that stuff. So I know the text is mirrored. I'm sorry. It's normally set up. I think it's Restream. I'm not really sure about that. Or it's good. It's just on my end. I'm not sure. And then, so I put the year. I also left this open because I'm actually going to give this little mini brag book. I was waiting to be done with the live, and this is going to go to my mother because they were here on this trip as well. So I'm going to add a little something over here, kind of a little mini journal page. I just hadn't done it yet. So then here's some more pictures of my kids playing at the beach. And then here we are scuba diving underneath. And again, that little image, one of the other cutouts. So, and then just lots of fun layers, pulling cardstock I had in my stash that went with the book. And all the measurements and everything are in the video. So it's a fun little book. And the size fits in a regular A2 size envelope. So the normal size for a card, well, I would normal because every card is a little bit different. Hang on, I'm grabbing an envelope real fast. You can see what I mean. So this is an envelope that fits this card size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And this fits in here. It's going to be a little bulky, but it does fit. So it just fits in the envelope. So if you wanted to mail this, it fits in there, and you just might want to put that extra postage for mailing so it doesn't go through the machine. So it's a non-sorted or non-machinable postage, or you could put it in a padded envelope, but it's just the same. If you're going to list, I wouldn't add a lot of extra doodads to this unless you're going to put it in a padded envelope. But yeah, it's cute. It's fun.
I like it. It's very cool. Like I said, I don't scrapbook, as I said earlier in this, so I love seeing all these creations and what you're doing. So that would be such a wonderful gift for somebody who has everything.
Right. I mean, and the idea of, I made mine all summer because my pictures and the inspiration, but think about if you pulled out old Christmas papers that you have and then make this a Christmas little mini brag book, or Halloween, or a fun trip, or, just anything. It could be Easter. It could be and it could be, like from going to an event, a really cute little wedding album, a tiny wedding album out. Sky's the limit in terms of how many different fun pictures. You could put another picture here if you wanted, another one here, to put the elements in other pictures. So lots of places to put pictures, and then you have room to kind of add an journal. So you could journal in this space instead of putting a big year. So lots of things. The text is backwards. I'm sorry. It's just the way that normally it's not. It's my overhead camera, but picture it the other way. This says summer is calling, and this says seize the day.
Something to learn. Maybe I can figure out how to get it to go the other way. We'll learn. We'll learn. All good. That's excellent. So we have a few questions. I'm going to hope they pop up on the screen.
Sure.
Well, there you go. There's one.
Okay. I need to close my private chat so I can see that. Do you have any tips for digital paper? I've collected a lot on my computer and haven't used any yet. So organize the paper. That would be my number one in terms of digital files. You either can organize it by, I think theme would be the best one. So have all your Christmas things in there, have all it organized by whatever theme that works for you. And I'm a digital, I like creating the projects, but then I physically like to print it out and use it. So I'm a hybrid person, I guess that's the best way. So I will like to make the fun embellishment, but then I'll print that out and then I'll use my paper that I have on hand because I got oodles and oodles of paper. So I think making it hybrid for me allows me to work with my digital products versus just making a digital scrapbook page, which I know it's a thing. And I love, lots of people love doing that, but I don't do anything with that. I want to get off my computer a little bit as well. I like to stand and create and do my thing. So hybrid is my best way of using my digital products I currently have. Does that help?
We'll find out. You're still cutting out a little bit, but it's not bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Here's another question for you.
Okay. Is the paper?
Not sure. Oh, you're gone, Erin. Your voice has gone. Oh, you're back. Say something.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, you're back.
Okay, I don't know.
Text is backwards, Erin. Looking for... Somebody said they're ready. I'm ready to do... I really do love these projects. They would be a wonderful gift. That's right. Here we go. Next question.
Beautiful paper I gave up. My printer only prints on a certain type of copy paper. I really love the paper, want to use it. So I print on Neenah white cardstock. It's 110 pound. I buy it in the ream, so it's a little bit thicker and it prints it through my inkjet just fine. I don't like using copy paper because it's so thin and it tears. It doesn't have it just doesn't look as good when you're working with it, scrapbooking, card making with it. But yeah, the Neenah 110 weight cardstock, it looks like it's got like a billiard balls on the front of the paper ream. I don't have the ream in front of me because I threw it away because I put everything in the stash over here. But it's the greats. That's what I love. Neenah cardstock is great. I like the 110 personally because I use it for, all my card bases. I use it for printing on. It prints great. It's also the quality of the printer that you have. But I do know that you can go to places like Office Max and you can get things printed from there if you send them the file or you bring in the file, or you can select it to go there and then you just go pick it up and they will print it on whatever cardstock that you're wanting them to print it on. So that's another way to do it.
Excellent. Any other? Can someone put in the comments what the card does? There you go. Can someone put in comment the cards?
Neenah white cardstock, 110 pound.
I will type it in. I will put it in the Facebook.
Okay. It's Neenah, Neenah.
Yeah.
There it is.
Neenah, somebody did it for you. You don't have to worry, Tracy. It's done. We have great Facebook.
And Neenah's a well-known brand. It's been out there for a while. So a lot of card makers use the Neenah brand. And it's very inexpensive for how much you're getting. And it's a good, solid quality paper.
Yeah. There's a hugeness about having a good quality paper. I draw and paint. And buying the cheap paper doesn't work for that type of crafting either, because you can really notice the difference of your layering and what you're able to accomplish if it doesn't have enough tooth, which is what we say in the painting world. Absolutely.
What type of printer do I suggest? I can see that. So the printer that I use, I have an Epson printer and it has the cartridges that pop in. So the printer is great. I've had it for about 5 years because initially I bought it because I wanted to print pictures. So it had a little picture. This is like back when I was doing more scrapbooking. So actually it's more than 5 years, about 8 years old. And it's been doing great. What I have noticed is using the quality of ink. So if you buy off-brand ink, your colors are not going to match for what you have on your computer before you go send it to print. So Epson's great, Canon's great, but the quality of the ink is what really matters. So sometimes, like I said, those off-brands refurbished inks are not the greatest. I learned that the hard way.
Tracy sells ink as part of her business, so she's like clapping at what you're saying.
Yeah, it makes a difference. See, go to her, buy your ink from her.
Exactly. Bye, Tracy. Is there a way for you? Sorry, is Is there a way the measurements for the project can be posted? It's so hard for me to hear measurements correctly.
On the video itself, for all the big measurements, I put it up on the screen in big numbers.
It's also in your instructions, isn't it? Is it in your instructions?
It's in the instructions too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know sometimes I talk fast when I get excited, and I know big numbers like that, I will like put on big screen on the top and leave it up there for a while. But yeah, it's in the instructions too.
Excellent. Any other questions for Erin as we go on? And
I will also put out there, so I work with Crafters Workshop. I do a lot of their short videos, all their reels, all their shorts. I create the video content for them. And I know Jamie is not able, sorry, that's my computer, not able to come on and do a live. So if you have questions from her, I don't know when her video is going live, but Sunday. I can help answer questions about that video as well, because I know the products.
That's going live on Sunday.
Ah.
Any other?
I will be traveling. I will not be available Sunday. I will be in the Ozarks.
We'll give it, I know there's a delay in timing of when this goes, so we'll give it time for more questions to come by. That your project is adorable, which it is. I could see that project being a great graduation present as well, like at this time of year. Here's another one.
What do I print my photos on? So I don't print it on paper. Well, this time I did it on paper because I didn't have any more I printed on the same paper. I tend to default and I like a one-stop shop, and I try not to have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. So the Neenah 110-pound cardstock is what I printed my photos on. So it's probably not as good a quality if you put it on photo paper, but it worked great. It has no problems. I think it did a good job of getting the images across just fine. Same as no different than putting it on your pattern paper. So, it works fine for me. Mostly because I ran out. I realized the project was due and I had no more of the photo paper. And I was like, oh, fudge. So plan B it is. And it worked great. So
here's a not craftbooking one for you.
Where do I enjoy diving? Oh, so going back to my alternate career before changing and becoming and working in the crafting industry, I actually was a marine biologist. And so that's what my degree is. And so I started diving in university and I got all the way to master diver. I did like scientific diving. I did nitrox. I did rebreathers. I did all of it, and like surveying underwater and doing all that stuff. So I really got heavily into that. And then everything got put on hiatus. So all my early diving was not fun, pretty diving. It was work. So I would be diving in zero visibility with nothing, but we're investigating or we're taking samples or we're doing stuff like that. Once I got married, and my husband really loves diving too, we took our honeymoon and then we took a big break, but we went to Cozumel, which was beautiful. I loved Cozumel. For there, you need a boat and go further out. But I've also recently done Roatan, and then we did the Bahamas. And the Bahamas was beautiful because we got to see some bigger things. The coral is not the best, but like we saw sharks and we saw some really big, because everything's very protected there. But Roatan was beautiful for the small corals and the little bitty things. And I got my boys certified too, so they're coming. So we got lots more diving down the future, ready to go.
My brother was a marine biologist in his first degree.
See?
Then he realized it wasn't the best place to make a lot of money, so he switched.
Not a lot of money, no. But I love the ocean, so I wouldn't have changed anything for the world. I love all of it, and now I'm able to take my love for that and share it, and so it's all good.
Next one. Is there anything new from you coming up anytime soon?
Yes. So I'm actually hosting an in-person art retreat, maker retreat. We're going to be doing some card making, ink blending, sublimation, vinyl, working with some markers, making cards, having all kinds of fun. It is in Central Texas, just outside of Austin in Dripping Springs, Texas. The link, all the information is on my website at erinreedmakes.com. And it's going to be in August 10 through 13. It's in person. It's a very intimate house. There's 13 people total, including myself and my daughter, who is my assistant. She's coming to help. And everything is included. You just got to show up with your personal things. So food's included. All the craft supplies are included. Everything is there. But it's going to be a ton of fun. And there's only a few spots left. So, and I've had a lot of people emailing me going, can I have this? Can I have that? I'm like, as long as left. So early bird pricing actually ends today.
Oh, well, there you go.
So you want to get in on it. It's on my website. Yeah, the early bird pricing, it goes up starting tomorrow. So get it today.
We have a question.
Somebody asked, is it adding? Yes, in Engage in Dripping Springs. We have the whole house to ourselves. So it's a very intimate, very close. And I actually had one of the companies going, can I come help and like bring extra fun things? I'm like, absolutely, but I don't have a place to host you. So she's going to potentially get a hotel nearby. And there is 4-day passes in case I sell out. So if people want to come, but I'm sold out, I can fit 4 extra people to come in and be a part of all of it. You just have to drive home to go or drive somewhere to go sleep and come back the next day. So
there you go. What type of glue do you suggest is the next question.
Depends on the project. So my number one glue adhesive, I'm going to skip and broaden this a little bit. My adhesive, I love my Xyron adhesive. So this is my Xyron Mega Runner. I was using this in the project. It's awesome because it's really easy to replace. So the cartridge, this comes in a bajillion different colors. There's a ton of different colors. And so this goes this way. You can't put it in the wrong way. So that part's really nice. And I know sometimes with the other tape runners, it's like it gets jammed, it gets stuck, it gets this, it gets this. I have 0 problems. I love it. And so for adhesive, for paper to paper, for card making, for scrapbooking, that part I love. For intricate, small detail things where I want to use a glue, I have been using, sorry, I have my mic thing. I'm going to put this here. Pay no attention to what she's doing behind her shirt. I have used Barely Art glue for a long time, and I have not played with this yet, and scrapbook.com just launched it. I just got sent this in the mail from scrapbook.com. It's their new art, like it literally came in yesterday. So I'm going to be dabbling with this one to see what I think about it, because it's got the same thing. It's got like the fine tips, so really detail, really. So I'm going to be differences between these two and see how I like it. But up to this point, I would have said this one, but this might be my next one. For bigger things, if I want a bigger hold, or if I'm dealing more with fabric, or if I've got objects that are not glue, like paper to paper, if I want to do beyond paper, if I need something with a little bit more of a hold, I Beacon Fabri-Tac. So this one I will use if I've got heavy embellishments I want to put on a project. I'm trying to find something. Like I made I can just, so the felt gluing everything to the ribbon to the pen itself, that one I would use the Beacon Fabri-Tac. If I'm doing heavy embellishments, all my projects are not in front of me, otherwise I would show you. I had one right here, but I think it made its way to another room. So if I'm gluing like felt to wood, if I'm gluing like beads or something, or heavy things, or flowers to oh, I do have one I wanted to show. Of course, no, it's not here either. Fudgers. Sneaky peek on another one coming in August. These little flowers here attached to the card, that I use the Fabri-Tac because I wanted more of a strong hold. So the loaded question, because it really depends on what you're trying to glue to what. And then I like hot glue for quick projects too. So
it's a good question. Good answer. Here's a quick one on a different topic, because we already talked about this before we came on. Where are you originally from?
So I am originally from Canada. I was born in Edmonton, Alberta, but I live in Austin, Texas now. But I have lived around the world. So I've even lived in Asia. So I probably have a very muddled accent, depending on what word comes out. And I'm probably sounding more Canadian because I'm to you two ladies. Mm-hmm. So I bet it's kind of eking itself out a little bit more. But yeah, I'm from all over. See, there's the Texan coming out.
Would glossy cardstock work similar to photo paper?
It depends. So the problem with glossy cardstock, if you're going to print on it, sometimes because it doesn't have like a setting, and the ink person can probably tell us more about that, you may not get a good set, so it'll start smearing on you. Photo paper is specific for printing photos and having it set and so it doesn't smear and you don't have like a big streak through somebody's face. It takes a couple of seconds, but glossy paper does not have that embedded in the paper itself. So the ink is going to sit on top and then smear all over the place.
You did right? Great. You did great. Seriously.
So probably not is the best answer.
Okay, I think those, I may have missed a question. There's a few that I don't think so. Looking back, some of them I don't even know what the question is. So that's not good. So maybe this question makes sense to you, but it does not make sense to the non-crafter.
Oh, yeah. Is the name billiard balls or boxes? It's the image on the front of the cardstock, the billiard balls.
There you go.
See? It's the image on the front of the ream of the paper. Billiard balls for the win.
Somebody asked if you can post or share the names of the glues.
I don't see a place where I can type it in. So somebody might be able to type it, but we'll start off with barely art glue.
You can type at the bottom of the thing, Tracy, if you can, on the right-hand side.
Give me a place to type it in.
It's very dark at the very bottom, but
it doesn't even have a spot. Like I can see private chat, but I can't.
Yeah, weird. I don't know why. I
hold
can.
It up. Somebody can type it for me. Let's go that route.
Yeah, we can add it on Facebook after, and then we can, do it on YouTube after as well.
Somebody's actually typing for us because you guys are wonderful.
So barely art glue. And then I haven't tried it, but the new Scrapbook Artiste glue. So ARTS glue. For my runner, I of which I also, they have their other, I'm sure you guys these, the original X's for your small embellishments. I love these ones die cuts, but the adhesive is the same for both and fantastic. So Xyron, XYRON, and then Fabri-Tac. So it's like fab without the C and then tack, and that's from Beacon. They're the ones that have the funny little.
They have been typed in by our wonderful people on here, so that is great. How many languages do you speak? There you go.
One.
So Tracy and I speak two. So there you go.
I can read French and Spanish. And if people speak slow enough, I can catch it, but I cannot. I've never vocally speaking it. All the countries I have lived in, the national language was English. Mm-hmm. Being in Canada, it's written everywhere, so we read it. So I learned how to read it, and I had French in high school, and then Spanish living in Texas. You see it written everywhere, so you how to read it. I couldn't do like text, but enough to read to get the idea of what I'm reading and get the concept. But as I speak it, I know small little phrases to get by. But I can get by in the countries that have those two languages and be able to get my way around. But very well, because I don't have anybody to practice with.
So how did you come to love the ocean so much? If you were
So when I was 5, we moved to Singapore, and it's a little city-state island. So we were around the ocean. We did a lot of when I was little. So we would go to the Philippines. We went to Indonesia. I went to Bali. I went to Australia because it's all right there. The ocean's everywhere. Malaysia. So I love that. And then when we moved back to Canada, we moved to Vancouver Island, and my backyard was literally at. So I would walk out my back door and I would walk my dogs along the beach, and just being embedded with all that. And then just seeing all of that, I just kind of fell in love with it. And so that kind of spurned from, and yeah, something about, I have to be, and I was always a swimmer. Like I was on swim team, competitive swimming for years. So I have to be somewhere near some type of water, but I just love the beach. Compared to a lake, I will enjoy a lake.
I say you're not necessarily living close to water right now.
No, I love Austin, but I have a pool, so that helps.
That does help. Having a pool does help. What a great childhood somebody wrote, which is true. Any other questions that you want to ask Erin? Generally about this amazing paper crafting industry. There you go.
I'm open.
You've had some people asked about how you got into paper crafting, and she shared that at the beginning. So I wasn't ignoring your messages. She shared it. You can go back and see. Someone says, awesome. I live in Nova Scotia and I see the ocean anytime I look out the window. So yes.
I think that's what my parents' place. They live on Vancouver Island, and yeah, their whole back windows just face, and like, it's hard not to see the ocean when you're living on an island. It's somewhere, a 5-minute drive, and boom.
Yeah.
You can hear it. You can see it. You can smell it. Yeah. Something about being near the water. I don't know.
Yeah. For our Aussies who will probably listen to the replay, I lived in Sydney, Australia for 2 years, and I had a beautiful view of the harbor. And so that was my first opportunity of actually waking up and seeing water every day, because I live in landlocked as well. But yeah. So
my goal, and I think I finally have convinced my husband of this, is that we're going to, once everybody has moved out, and like I'm 43, so it's ways to go before retirement, but is to downsize super small. And then we want to live on a boat and just sail. So my marine biology, and I actually also have a secondary, they have a third mate's license. So I used to sail big commercial ships. So think tankers, ferries, all those kinds of things. I would be one of the people that would be running it up in the wheelhouse. Fantastic. So putting all my, seafaring days back to you and by living. So he's pretty hard. He doesn't like the idea of going on big cruises because there's too many people, but having our own space and our own boat, our own everything. He's like, yeah, that sounds like we have our own control. beyond the weather. Nobody can control that, but we're not having to deal with a lot of people when you're out there on the ocean by yourself, which is the best part.
Someone said they got on a little late. Will there be a replay? As soon as it's over, you can watch the replay. You just have to give Facebook a few minutes to process it, but it will be in the Facebook group and on YouTube. Sorry, go ahead. Someone said the replays to Facebook. So the VIPs get the replays to all of the sessions. Everyone else just gets the individual live sessions, but the Q&As will stay up. The Q&As are on YouTube, so they'll be up, period, for that. But the replays for the individual sessions, if you're not a VIP member, they go away some hours from now. They go away at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then the new ones come out. So it'll be excellent there. So question about your billiards. So I will let you answer your billiard question.
But either they've changed the graphics since I bought it, because I bought like I literally bought the entire box at a time. So possibly they changed the graphics, or I'm off my rocker. But I remember having balls on there. Go with the 110 pound. I mean, it's $20 for a ream. That's not bad.
There you go.
American.
And I'm just wondering if they're trying to say that maybe you have to buy a case at a time, which would make sense.
And you don't have to buy the full case.
Okay. I'm just not sure if that's what their message is.
So, yeah, whoever wrote that, if you want to add some more clarification, let us know. I thought I'd share this one for you.
I love it. I've been to Puerto Rico. It's gorgeous.
172 beaches. That's pretty cool.
I love it. They have the phosphorescent in the water, the bioluminescence. So like you run your hand through the water and it's just glitter and it's all over. And the mangroves there are just so beautiful. It's such a really cool, if you've never been to Puerto Rico, I highly suggest you go. It is beautiful. The people are amazing. The food is awesome. Now I'm jealous. I want to go there right now.
I've been to a beach, and I haven't been to a beach pre-pandemic. So there you go. It's been a while. So, oops, it's still working. Yeah. Any other questions, ladies? We've been going for a good half hour, so fantastic. Any questions? And if there's any gentlemen, too. You may have already said this, but I was wondering if you have a YouTube. So there you go. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Absolutely. Yeah. So all my social media is Erin Reed Makes. And yeah, I do videos constantly. I've been really getting into the short videos, the reels, and I do, except for like this, the month of June's been kind of funky because we're going on holiday and I've been getting everything ready. But yeah, I do edited videos. I have a live card making Wednesday, almost every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And then lots of short videos and lots of cool stuff going on. And yeah, a little bit of everything. So yeah, absolutely. Come join me. I'd be happy.
1 o'clock Central US time.
Yes. Yes. Central US. Central North America.
Miss Carrie's here and she shared. Nia 100.
So there you go. I remember billiard balls. I'm not off my rocker. So yeah, I guess it's a purple package, but it's white, but it's got purple. I wish I had it, but I don't have it in front of me. But if you go to any of my YouTube videos and you see like Nina white cardstock and it's a link to Amazon, that's the paper I'm talking about.
Okay.
I link it on all because I use it for all my card making stuff. So the one there, and you can get it on Amazon. I think it's like $21.99, something like that. It's what I have found. I use it for just about everything. I feel like it's less than 5 cents a paper. So I don't feel like I'm breaking the bank if I screw up a sheet of white cardstock. It's not a big deal. So yeah.
Excellent. We have a question on how long does it take a min to approve your request to Facebook? As fast as we can. If you're not answering the questions, it takes a lot longer. So we're trying to keep, what happens with Facebook when you create a group this big, this quickly, the little buttons go up and people try to join who we really don't want in our Facebook group. So we're approving people as fast as possible. But if you haven't answered the questions and you're not putting in the email address that you used to join, then it's very difficult for us to let you in. So we're checking your names, but that takes longer. So if you haven't answered questions or anything, that may be why you're not in it. And if you've asked, I think the last time we cleared people was 2 or 3 hours ago. So we'll clear again. But yeah, that's why if you're not in, that's why. Because we're trying to get, you don't want some of these people who are trying to get in our groups.
You get the trolls and you get the ones that are trying to sell you their kids who just passed away computer system and put the deposit down and all that. Don't do that. That's a
yeah.
scam.
You know you're in trouble when the person who goes is like been on Facebook for a day, has nobody in it.
0 followers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And has a weird name that makes no sense because the names are backwards, their first and last names.
Yeah. I have to say, crafting industry, you have the best email addresses. There's like Nana Crafts with Kids. We've had so many cool email addresses that you're like, yeah, you can tell you have a passion for it.
Sorry, I just remembered something when you said that. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there's someone who says they love your mini album photo.
Oh, thank you. It just, I don't know what reminded me of this when you said that word, but somebody asked any other events coming up, and I forgot about another one that's coming. So I also host a card swap. We just finished one right now, but at the end of this month, I'm going to be releasing my next card swap, which is our Christmas card swap. So you're the first to hear. We're going to be having it due. But if you are interested in card swaps, we had 50 people for the spring one. And last Christmas, we had over 100 people. All the information is on my website. There's a link at the top that says card swaps. I have a Facebook group where you can post inspiration. There's lots of cool stuff. So if that's your jam, you're into that thing, then check it out, because that's something that you don't have to be physically present for.
And so I guess in a card swap is like the old tea towel swap, where you kind of same idea.
So card swap meaning like you're making handmade. And so the way that works, like I either ask for either batches of 10 or batches of 20. It has to be a handmade card. Our group usually comes up with the requirements, but for Christmas, we keep with Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's, winter wishes, that kind of stuff. So anything within that realm of what you would consider a Christmas card, quote unquote. We like to keep within the size that would fit into this envelope. So you make either 10 or you make 20 handmade cards. You mail them to me. I do videos on the cards so you can get a ton of inspiration. So for Christmas cards, usually I do about 6 to 8 videos, and I kind of show the card. I shout out to the people who make them, because not everybody's got a YouTube or an Instagram where they want to post, but they love to have their name shout out, and they're amazing artists and crafters. And then I swap all the cards around, and you get 10 different ones mailed back to you. So that's another way for inspiration. It's a sense of community. It's just kind of fun. And it's just a cool thing to do. And usually I put a little extra goodie in there. And sometimes I have sponsors that want to send product to you guys. And so it's just cool.
Is that opened just to the US, or is it global?
Nope, it's international. So you are paying for the shipping to come to me. And then you are going to my website and basically purchasing your entry into the card swap. It just covers the return postage back to you. So if you are international, then you click on the international. So the price is just a little bit more for you to mail to me and to mail back.
Okay, makes sense. Yes, love the international flavor, but it does complicate things.
It does. And I have had some people also that like, hey, donate cards. And so because Terry donate cards to the troops, as long as it's glitter or sequin, that causes the problem, because they get stuck to forms and then they can see in night vision. So that's why if you've ever donated cards, no glitter, no sequins, nothing shiny like that could flake off, or bakers or anything that could fall apart and cause a problem. So, but yeah, the cards that I'm able to that are left over, I donate. So
that's awesome. Awesome. What a great idea. So congratulations on that. Well, we have been talking for almost 40 minutes and I don't see any new questions. So Erin, thank you so much for participating, for being part of our summit, for helping us out with the summit. We've really enjoyed it. And thank you for sharing all your wisdom.
Absolutely. And if anybody has any questions, drop me a line. I am everything Erin Reed makes. Pretty.
And whatever you make is beautiful, by the way. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Someone said they participated in your Christmas cards and it was tremendous. So there you
go.
Thank you. Great Q&A. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Erin's in the group too, so you can always tag her. There's a post today for Erin's questions, which I didn't go back and look and see if anybody posted any questions. I'm going to do that quickly.
I looked just before the live, about 20 minutes before and there wasn't any questions on there, but I'll keep looking. And if you guys make a project, or everybody, I'm not gonna say it, if anybody makes a project, post a picture. I'd love to see your project in the Facebook group. I love seeing what people make.
Yeah.
Tag me.
Yeah. And if anybody's on here who's still having issues accessing anything, we are working through all your questions and stuff like that. Most of it has been email address changes, or if you unsubscribed, which some people did, you will not get the email. So you have to subscribe to the email address to get access to this. And that's just the way. And we can't re-add you without your permission because it's a privacy law. So it's important that you keep yourself subscribed to get all the emails that you want to participate in the summit. So thank you, Erin. Have a great holiday trip. You're off to Erin, and we will see you in the group. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much.